are looking for a way to face your humanity head-on, fewer places would satisfy you more than a visit to a cemetery. Nowadays, cemeteries like this one and hundreds of others are on the surface. However, this was not always the case. In the late Roman period, people were buried in underground cemeteries called catacombs.
The word catacomb is derived from the Latin catacumbae, a term that originally referred to a region of underground tombs on the Appian Way in Rome. Its origin is unknown, but it could have derived from the Latin phrase, "at the graves." Today, the term is used for all underground hypogea, especially those dug during the late Roman period. These started off as small, possibly familial underground burials. The increasing population and lack of space above ground led to the growth of these unique underground necropolises, which at times extend for hundreds of miles. In a nutshell, the extension of these underground cemeteries in both length and depth was a practical solution to the ever-increasing problem of space. The St. Paul's Catacombs complex offers a clear example of the sheer size of these cemeteries. You will be seeing a lot of the smaller catacombs here, but in the main complex you will also see a communal catacomb that was progressively extended to cover an area of more than 2,000 square meters, easily accommodating hundreds of the deceased. Although these catacombs were abandoned sometime in the 8th or 9th centuries AD, the locations of some remain undiscovered. These dark, underground spaces littered with human bones sparked off many popular myths, the best known of which describes the catacombs as hiding places used by frightened Christians during the persecution. This was, however, not the case. On the contrary, the sole use of catacombs was that of a cemetery.
Although catacombs are usually associated with early Christians, they were actually first used by pagans. However, they soon became the predominant burial type for all the population, including Jews and Christians.
Followers of the different religions were usually buried in separate catacombs, or particular sections of the same, which can be identified through different symbols and features. Nonetheless, people from different religions had no problem being buried in the same grounds as others, highlighting the multicultural aspect and peaceful coexistence of society of that time. Catacombs come in a variety of forms. This is very noticeable when one walks through St. Paul's Catacombs. The tomb varieties can be an indication of a person's social standing within the community, family ties, and sometimes even profession. The sizes of the catacombs themselves are also an indication of population size. The main catacomb of the St. Paul's complex alone is indicative of a substantial population living in the old town of Melite. This larger catacomb was probably the main communal catacomb. Keeping in mind that this is only one catacomb within a larger burial ground that included another 22 catacombs within this complex, the sheer size of the living community becomes ever more apparent. Unlike other monuments in Malta, the catacombs are not exclusive to the islands. Catacombs, some much larger than those present here, can be seen in other parts of what used to be the Roman Empire, especially in Rome and Sicily. However, this does not mean that the catacombs of Malta do not have unique features. The relative isolation enjoyed by the inhabitants of the island paved the way for the creation of unique features within these underground cemeteries.
The best known of these unique features are the so-called Agave Tables or triclinia. These were tables like this one with reclining couches that were used for meals in commemoration of the dead. These were used throughout all the Roman world, but only here have they survived almost intact. And it is also only here that they are dug out of the living rock like this one, and the many others you can see during your visit.
Being in the outskirts of the ancient city of Melite, this area of Rabat provides the largest scatter of catacombs in Malta. The St. Paul's Catacombs complex, with its area of 10,000 square meters and 23 catacombs, comprises of the largest portion of this large cemetery that is open to the public. Also available for you to visit are the St. Augustine's Catacombs, for which further information can be gathered from the reception desk. Rabat is, however, not the only locality with catacombs. Smaller and at times more elegant clusters can be found scattered throughout the islands of Malta. The island of Gozo, on the other hand, has very little information on catacombs, where only one, called Argerdouf, seems to have survived. Of these small catacombs on the main island, the most important are the Tamintna catacombs, which, with their highly decorated features, are also a must-see. These 3 small catacombs can be viewed on request. Please ask at reception for further information.